What is up, everybody? It's your boy Brian from American Auto, and today we are back on the Challenger again. We're going to be filling these body lines right here in where the quarter panel and the roof meet each other. So let's get right to it. Stick around and we'll see how far we make it today. Before we get started here, guys, on today's show, I want to go ahead and tell you, head over and check out Carter's Drag Racing on YouTube and give them guys some love. Man, I'm telling you, they have a really awesome pro mod setup. They've got the Dodge Viper and the Blown Fish Cuda, and really awesome blower cars, and you know, really cool guys, really Christian guys, and you know, show them some love. Tell them I sent you over there. But we're fixing to go ahead and knock this out and get ready, because this car is heading out to wrap just as soon as I can get it primed. So yeah, let's get going. I got to move this hood out of here first. So what I did, guys, is I've got these pieces of metal that a buddy of mine gave me, and it's just the small metal that I used on the rest of it to fill holes and stuff. Anyway, I cut it into 1-inch squares, because this gap right here is 1 inch. Set where I can put it in here, just like so, and I will zap the top down up here, and then take my body working hammer and work it around the rest of the way to get the rest of the way in there. So see if I can find you guys a better position, and we'll get started. Zap on it right there. Well, dang, that didn't stick to nothing. I promise it's clean. I'm gonna try this again. There we go. Just and just like that, you got your first piece in there. All right, so now we got to continue all the way down and around. Now that you see how this whole system here is going to work, we'll get this knocked down, run this on in, start putting the rest of my little 1-inch strips in there, and once we get to the next part, which will be, you know, clean it all up, like I say, we got to weld this whole thing in. I mean, you can get away with spot welding it all the way down, but if you do, you risk a chance of leaving it so it can move right there, because where this is a unibody car, it causes that's the reason I use lead in this, is because it causes it to flex a little bit. So the more solid you can weld this, the more solid it will be for the car. So I don't know, we'll figure it out as we go, but as for right now, we're going to go ahead and get the rest of this zapped in there. And I can show you, see how it's rounded in there? That's exactly what we... I mean, it's way better to fill it with metal than to try and fill that whole entire thing up with filler. I mean, I could probably get away with using something like a Fiberall or something like that, but we're going to weld it. Yep. So I'll bring you guys back in. All right, so I got out here and got started this morning. Yeah. It's another day. I had some company show up yesterday that wound up hanging around for a while, and then other people showed up and other people showed up, and I really didn't get to get as much done yesterday as I wanted to. We got that patched in. Now, granted, it's only tack welded at the moment, and I know that looks rough, but it's all good. You know why? Because we're going zit, 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 and zit, 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 a little bit at a time, and make this whole thing solid. So I got in a conversation and didn't think to bring you guys back so you can see the final metal work, but we got the polyester filler in. It looks pretty good. We'll get it straighter. Like I said, I knew right there you was gonna have a line, just because you can't build it up high enough the first time every time. So oh well. So now we let this harden up and dry. I will let this set overnight. Bondo Billy actually verified what I was saying when I said let it sit overnight. He agreed with it because it takes away any possibility for shrinkage. So now we go to the other side and do the same thing again and get to cutting more metal. So hang tight, guys. I'll bring it back in just a second and show you what we got going on the other side. Guys, here we are on the other side, and we've got the metal worked in there just like that. Got her tack welded in. Now I'm going to go through and zip in between there, kind of firm this all up, and then we'll get it ground down, and then I'll bring you guys back. All right, now she's welded in there. Got to clean that up a little bit, but now it's time to take the 36 disc and get to work on it. For those of you who don't know, allow me to elaborate this. Fab work of any sort is very, very, very time consuming. Now, don't get me wrong, I really, really enjoy doing fab work. I really enjoy putting stuff together in metal and cutting stuff out and making it somewhat pretty, as best I can do anyway. But guys, I'm gonna tell you, this job here has been a time-consuming process just getting this stuff together, okay? Let me show you where we're at. She's ground down all the way across, fit it in there. And I know it's not perfect, but it don't have to be. It's solid. It's extremely solid. So all this is together. I can actually put my hand on it now. It's smooth. So you know what the next step is. Filler. And there we go. Got the filler on this side. So as I said before, guys, we are going to let this polyester filler harden overnight and check it again tomorrow. Like Bondo Billy said, that stops with any kind of shrinkage or anything after it's all sanded and everything. So we're going to let it set all the way through tonight. He brought me all the trim that he had, but it also came from someone else. So who knows what was actually brought back or not. I don't know if we have the entire taillight panel. I don't know if we have the hood vents and all that stuff. So we're going to find out. We'll go through and pull it all out, and I'll lay it all out and bring you guys along for the process. All right, everybody, it's a new day. We're back, and I'm going to get started sanding on these quarter panels here. So to do this, I've got two different types of blocks I'm going to use on this. And I'm going to start off with 80 and then move up from there. But the two blocks I've got one which is a foam, kind of soft Durablock from 3M. Has no markings on it because I've already worked them off. And then this one here is from 3M too, but it's a hard block. It's rubber, okay? And what I have found out is this hard one works way better when you're just trying to knock the mass down, and then this one works better when you're trying to fine-tune your sanding. So we're gonna get after it. I already got my handful of papers up here to use, and we're gonna get at it. So as I said, we're gonna start off with the hard block, and I've got a piece of pretty much already used up 80 grit right here, but as opposed to using it on D8, this is just my experience, okay? But after I've had this on the DA, see the dust coming off of it, and then I put it on the hard block, it seems to work really good just for getting the bulk, you know. So we're gonna start with that. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, who knows? Also, you want to go in a cross pattern or be turning your block while you're doing it. One or two. You don't want to just go straight like this because you're going to leave a big old line in it. I already got a line I got to contend with. So. And that's how you get your hard edges off real fast. Now, keep in mind there's absolutely nothing fast about sanding this stuff down. So, while I'm thinking about it, guys, I can go ahead and announce this now. If you're really interested in all the stuff I do, or some of the stuff I do, and want to see some of the behind the scenes, I just started a Patreon. So if you guys want to see like videos I send my buddy in Germany and stuff like that, you can see it all over on Patreon at American Auto on Patreon. That link will be in my main channel description, I think. I'm still trying to figure out how the whole Patreon thing works. Those of you who've been part of my channel for any period of time, y'all know I am challenged when it comes to electronics and computer stuff. So I need to come down and hit this stuff here, but that gets all the hard edges off with the 80 grit, and then you wind up with your little low spot. Now at this point, or somewhere close to this point, is when you may want to go ahead and add your guide coat, just so you can see what's high, what's low, what you got to get out. Honestly, you probably could have got away with doing the guide coat to start with, but I like to at least get some of the big hard stuff off first. Now on the guide coat here, keep in mind this is the guide coat that I made. I made a short or something, or I can't remember if it was a short or actually in the video explaining how I made this guide coat. And it seems to work really good now that I've got it figured out. I kept saying it was clogging up the paper, but it wasn't this clogging up the paper. It was the primer I was using at that time on this door, actually. So this is a 4-ounce pack of black makeup pigment that you can order off Amazon for like $3, and then a third of it's baby powder. Shake it up real good. You get a nice, really dark black consistency, and it smells good, unlike guide coat. Of course, the smell is whatever, but it goes on good and dark. The wife gave me a makeup brush because you're supposed to sponge this stuff, or put it on with the sponge thing. Now this is how I do this, okay? Now that it's on there real thick, you don't want to leave it real thick. I'll take my paper towel and do it just like you would the sponge applicator, okay? And then, just like that, there's your guide coat, done. Now you don't have to throw your paper towel away, because if you get the good ones, like the blue ones, or those, then they last and last and last. Now I'll jump over to the 180 and show you just how good the guide coat is. That's the reason I don't use the black spray paint either for guide coat. Spray balm, like everybody says, that you can use, is because it clogs up your sandpaper. But this stays. And you can see what's dark is low, what's not is high. The whole premise of how guide coat works. And just like that, my paper ain't all stopped up. So So there you go. There's the gist of it. Right there. We're going to let that ride for right now. And what I mean by that is I'll wait till she wakes up and I can get the power tool on it. I'll come over it with the orbital and get the hard stuff knocked off. Like this last little bit of this hard edge right here. Got a little bit of hard edge down here. Get that worked in. And then I'm going to come back over it with the other filler I've got. And then bring it up a little bit higher than what it needs to be. And then feather it in that way. You can clearly see that it is not anywhere near ready. But this corner right here, I don't know if that trim comes all the way from up here and straight down right there or what. I've got to get the trim out and find out. But as far as the rest of this goes, you can see how it's got a divot in it and all that. But as it stands right this second, it is 185.9% better than what it was having just that big old gouge in it. So, yeah. So again, with the guide coat, you can see all the guide coats in the low spots, which is fine because I can go right over top of that with the other filler and get her in there. So, yeah, we'll get at it. And I'll bring you guys back when it's time to do that. All right, guys, we're back. It's another day. We sanded down them quarter panels on the Challenger and then had to add some more filler in. Same old stuff. You know, you got to do 2 or 3 layers of it to get it up to where you need it at. Unless you're super professional like Bondo Billy and can do it in the first try. I'm not. So anyway, we moved on, shifted gears because that's in there drying for round 2. And so yeah, I figured I'd bring you in and show y'all how the valve stems go in these awesome Boyd Coddington wheels. So let me jump right in there. So the valve stems on this are bolt-in, okay? And what that means, which I've already got the tops of them painted, okay? But what that means is, if you're smart, you don't put the threads on that high, or that far. But what that means is, that little rubber down on the bottom, you'll put a little bit of some sort of lube on it, and then it goes right into that hole there, and it seats all the way in. And then you put this collet on top of that, and then the nut goes on top of that, and then you tighten it down with 7/16. When you do that, what you end up with is, oh, it's over here. I've already done one. You end up with the final product like that. It's bolted in, and when you look down from the top, you have just your valve stem, and it sets all the way on the inside of the wheel. So, again, and then next step will be putting the center caps in. But as for right now, we're just putting these valve stems in to go ahead and get that done so I can start getting ready to get the tires on here. And I got to keep wiping this because I don't want to leave oil dripping on these brand new powder coated wheels. Now, although they say it ain't going to hurt it, I don't want to leave it. I'm just too particular about it. So, once we get that done, then we'll get the Windex out and clean these wheels up. Shine them up a little bit better, get some of this dust off of them, and get them ready to go on the car. So we're going to throw these in here, and then I'll show you what they look like when it's done. All right, guys, we ain't nowhere quite done yet. We're getting very close. We got this panel here near done. I've got to come in with a skim coat and raise this little section right through here up because it's a little low right there. And I've got to skim both sides of this just a touch and fill in this little, you know, couple of spots here. There's a couple of holes. You can't see them on camera, I don't think. Maybe if we get close. See those little pinholes? Yeah. But that's in there like swimwear. Now, fill these in. I'm going to put a skim coat of the Super Sandable on there and do it just like I did the other side, which you hadn't seen yet. I'll show you that one side. The other side, how I did a little skim coat on that where it needed it. If you don't have to put extra, then you don't put extra. Simple as that. This little stuff here, notice it's a different color. It's way easier to sand, and it just kind of like, it fills in them little voids, but it makes it so much easier. You can hand sand this down. You don't have to have the DA and all that stuff. Come in, do a little bit of hand sanding. This comes right on down, and this side will be completely finito, okay? And then from there, I still have to find all the rest of the trim that goes to this, and I did find the last piece that goes around the back glass. So we have the whole back glass trim. I'll be able to put that in. But yeah, to find the rest of the window trim, I've got to locate the rest of the windshield. Well, actually, I've got the whole top of the windshield. I don't have the base piece of the windshield trim. I have the back of the hood. I have the front of the hood. I do not have, as y'all seen in the shorts, the headlight buckets, which also in turn is this piece of trim. Okay, so I need that for both sides. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So the passenger side, I have the trim that comes from here, back, down, and around. I don't have the A-pillar trim. Driver's side, I have none of the trim. But most importantly, guys, the one piece that I need more than anything is the trim that goes on the hood snorkels. The two of those, where this has the double snorkel kit on it. Now, and I guess it's not really called snorkel or snouts or whatever you want to call them, but you know, it's for the rally sport. Also, we need the roll pan for under the back because I don't have it. Yeah. So we gotta go look at the rear bumper and see what kind. I didn't even think to look at it, but we gotta look at the rear bumper and see, does it have the dual outlet for the dual exhaust, or is it a straight bumper without any of it? Is that solely in the pan? I'm not real sure here. I'm trying to figure this out as I go as well because I don't know these cars that well. But once we get this little bit caught up here on the bodywork, that's why I'm pushing through on the bodywork right now and overlooking the trim missing right this second. Because as soon as I get the bodywork done, then we're going to sand the whole car down, throw it in the booth, get a good coat of primer on it, make sure the primer's good and flat, go over it with Scotch-Brite after we're done with it, and it goes out to wrap. So I'm aiming on having this car in for primer in the next day or two. That's the goal. Today's Tuesday, so maybe tomorrow, the next day, possibly have it in there. We'll see. Lord willing. So also I'm trying to find all the rest of the stuff that's missing. I don't know what's missing, what's not missing from this car, so we'll figure it out as we go. So there's that. So let's get back at it, guys, and I'll bring you back in just a minute. All right, and we are getting down to the down. Can you feel that? There she is. You got the body line. You got one little line. I don't know if you can see it on camera. Comes down through here. You got your little ridge right there. And then you got this little body line that comes up through here. And you can feel that just barely right there as it disappears into the quarter and then reappears back here. That is as perfect as you can get. I don't know if I can get a side view to show you. You got just a little bevel right here. And that needs to be there. But this side is done. Yay! Now let's go over around the car back to that side and down that one and do the same thing. Also, when you're sanding stuff like this, you can always tell who's done what. I have a little puddle, a sanding puddle over here, and only one shoe that's white. Go figure. Here we are back on the side where I've got the skim coat on. It's dry-ish. I'm gonna let it sit a little while longer. This is not the same as this. So this stuff here actually dries really fast. Within about 15-20 minutes, you should be able to sand this stuff. Plus, where it's only a skim coat, there can't be a whole lot of shrinking going on in this. But the good thing is even with them grooves and stuff in it like that, you can still feel that there's not a big dent in there anymore. It's got the flat spot here right where my palm is. It's got the line right here. And it's got the bevel right there. Perfect. Those are the three things I'm looking for in this. Again, guys, learning as I go. Right, see y'all. We're going a little bit different route. I got the hood and the trunk lid hung up out there on my cross post. I don't have the booth up, but it's okay. I'm literally just spraying primer on the bottom sides of these to get them ready, so that way I don't have to spray over the top of the engine and that kind of stuff, or over all that AccuAir stuff. If you don't remember, let me show you. I do realize it's super dusty. I still have to clean all this, but right at the moment, the dust is the least of my worries. But I don't want the hood up in the air and me trying to spray primer under it and dropping primer all over all that, or all over this fantastic dusty mess that I got to clean out. So that being said, oh, check it out. I threw the tail lights in, just make sure I had all of it. Good Lord. When they say Mopars are expensive, guys, they ain't kidding. Like $1,500 just on trim. But anyway, we're going to get this primer sprayed onto the bottom side of this hood out in the open. And we'll put about 3 coats on there and let it rock and roll. All right, here we go, guys. Let's throw a little primer on here. I'm using my HVLP gun from Campbell Hospital. Might need to turn that air pressure down just a touch. Right there. Let's see if we can do this without leaking too terribly bad. All right, we got them primed. As you can see, I went ahead and knocked a little bit on that front side on the bodywork part of it. Now it's time to go get this piece of junk cleaned up. God, I hate this gun. I'm about ready to throw it away or give it away or something. It non-stop drips out the tip. No matter how much I clean it, it's just a piece of junk. But I've had it for about 10 years and I bought it at Walmart, so what do you expect? So anyway, guys, at this point, this is just cleaning up the gun. I'm gonna put that hood and trunk back on the car tomorrow. And then pull the car actually into the paint booth. And I think I'm going to use my other gun over there, or I might go buy an LVLP gun. That would be better, honestly. I'm just cleaning my spray gun out with a little acetone. Works great. But of course I'll go into detail cleaning it later too, but right now I'm just getting the main bulk of it out. And then you shake it up. You'll make sure you get all of it. All right, guys, so that being said, all I got left to do on this car now before it goes out to wrap is I've got to sand that polycoat off and make sure everything's cleaned up, wiped up real good, and send it into the booth, prime it real good. I'll end up putting the rest of that gallon on there most likely. And at that point, it'll be time to go to wrap. So Friday, Saturday, probably Monday morning, I'll be loading this thing up and taking it to wrap. So I'll put a post up of what the car looks like in full primer. But that being said, guys, that's going to do it for this one. You see what the primer looks like? It's just gray. It's not going to be anything fantastic. In the next video, it'll be when this car comes back. It will be wrapped. It should have glass in it. We'll be getting the wheels and tires on it, putting the trim on it. We'll be painting the trim. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, but when this car comes back in the next video of this car, you will see it go all the way back together and then out to the customer. So that'll be in the next video. It's probably going to be several weeks before we get to that point, because each person that's taking this car from here on out, which is 3 different places, has got to have it a week. So anyway, and then we get it back and go from there. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching another episode on this Challenger, this one-of-one SEMA build. It's not a SEMA build. We're not building it for SEMA. Forza Horizon build is what it is. Sorry. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure you check out Carter's Drag Racing and Powder Coating on YouTube. Check out Top Notch Trees 23, Pole Barn Garage, Golden Ruster Bust. Hopefully he'll have a video up soon. Make sure you check out Junkyard Digs, all them guys, okay? Sprayway Customs, Bondo Billy, go check out all them, all right? But I want to thank you so much for watching this one. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Share this with your friends, guys. We are 13 away from that 500 mark. Let's see if we can get it there. In the meantime, that's going to do it for this one. Remember, if it doesn't challenge you, it don't change you, okay? Thank you so much, and we'll catch you on the next one.